Now that you got me, what game do you want to play next?
Fuck you.
Ooh, sounds like fun.
What's up, guys? Welcome to the channel, and today we're going to be wrapping up the Nightmare on Elm Street review series, and we're going to be capping it off with the 2010 remake. There's a lot to talk about with this one. This film was produced by Platinum Dunes, aka the Michael Bay horror movie remake factory, especially during that time. And it had a solid run. It had a solid box office performance. With the production budget being $35 million, this film opened with $32.9 million. And it went on to gross $117 million at the box office. Box office juggernaut. But here's the problem. The film was without Robert Englund, who made the character of Freddy Krueger his own. And they got Jackie Earle Haley. We're going to get more into that later. We're going to get more into what I really think about Jackie Earle Haley's performance as Freddy. But I will say this, he does a good enough job to add a little bit of his own thing within the character. You know, it's hard to try to emulate what Robert Englund did in the previous films throughout this franchise, and some decisions they made within this film, not all that great. While I can appreciate some things in this movie, I think this one, in my opinion, is worse than Freddy's Dead. The things within this film that they decided to make, especially with the character of Freddy Krueger, it just, I don't like it, man. It just makes you feel uncomfortable. This movie almost makes you feel like you got to take a shower after watching. We've all come to love this horror movie villain, but what they did with his character within this film makes you like question your morality, you know, for loving Freddy. I still love Freddy Krueger. You know, I can pretend like this movie doesn't exist, but then again, you got to give things a shot, right? And I did like everybody else, and it's just, this movie's not for me, you know. And this one just falls under the category of bland, unimaginative remake, and that's what you have here. So let's get into it. As far as what I liked about the 2010 A Nightmare on Elm Street remake, this may be a hot topic, but I think Jackie Earle Haley does a decent job. As I alluded to earlier, he adds little things to the character of Freddy, his own thing to the character, and I think that's needed. The shoes he had to fill when making this movie is tough. It's a tough thing to do, because it's like, everybody loves Robert Englund. What can I do different that makes everybody love me? He has certain things about him in this film, you know, what he does with the character, like when he slides the blades together, that little finger movement that he does throughout the film. I think that's effective. That's effective. He's not over the top like Robert Englund. He has a more serious and dark demeanor to him in this film. He's not cracking jokes. Like, he is a little bit, but he's not like on Robert Englund's cracking jokes. When Jackie Earle Haley makes jokes in this film, it's like kind of mean and disturbing and just dark. We've all loved the perfect balance with comedic and scary Freddy with Robert Englund and Dream Warriors, and somewhat in Dream Master for me. He does a pretty good job. He does a good job with the voice and the blade sliding thingy he does with the finger knife. It's great. The opening with the character of Dean at the diner is pretty effective. It sets the mood for the movie. Like, the tone this movie is going for. Dean walks around a diner, you know, he sees the waitress, and, you know, he's following her. And I love this shot where he's looking towards the camera, and then he hears something behind him, and he turns around, and then you get Freddy appearing with the glove behind him. The audience get jump scared by Freddy in the kitchen. You know, Dean wakes up. He has a cut on his hand. And also all the other characters that this movie is going to follow is in the diner as well. You know, you have a new version of Nance in this film, character named Chris. You have the character of Quentin, played by Kyle Garner, who's on a resurgence recently with, you know, The Scream, Smile, and The Passenger, which I really love. You have the character of Jesse too. You know, all the teens that this film is following is in this one scene. Dean is at the table, and we're in the nightmare. You know, the scene shifts into nightmare world, the dream world. All of a sudden, Dean wakes up and he has a knife to his neck. But in the dream, it's Freddy holding the knife, and Dean is yelling like, "You're not real." Freddy's like,
I am now.
Dean drives the knife in his neck and just goes all in on it. And you get the scream by Chris, and you get the title card. I will give this movie that. It has a great opening. Too bad the movie peaks there, in my opinion. The kills here, they're pretty solid. You know, they are some of the meanest kills in this franchise that we've gotten. As I mentioned with the opening kill with Dean, you have Chris's death. Chris is the new Tina, and Jesse is the new Rod in this film. But Chris has a nightmare leading up to her death scene. You know, she's outside. Basically, Freddy killed her dog. She runs back into the house. She wakes up from the dream, and she goes into the bathroom, you know, washes her face and gets back into the bed. She lays down, and Freddy's there. And he's like, "Found you." This new version of the kill is kind of funny in my opinion, because you have Chris just flopping around the damn ceiling. After all that happens, you get the claw just going across her stomach, and basically like Tina in the original, she dies the same way. Jesse's death is cool as well. That sequence of him in the boiler room starts with him walking out of his cell as an officer says, "You made bail." He didn't, because there's a brick wall that appears, and Jesse's in the boiler room now, and he bumps into Freddy. You know, they have that whole little sequence of him just screaming or whatever. And then Freddy says this in this film:
Why are you screaming? I haven't even caught you yet.
And he disappears. And Jesse gets up, he's like looking around, and you get the glove coming through the back of Jesse. Jackie Earle Haley's version of Freddy is not playing around. He doesn't care about making quips as much as Robert Englund Freddy does. He's mean and he's brutal. He's killed. They show that tone in this movie pretty effectively. Kyle Gardner as Quentin is pretty great. He's great here, man. As I mentioned before, you know, he's been on a resurgence recently with these recent horror films and thrillers that he's been a part of. And he's great here. He kind of helps carry Nancy this film, and we're gonna get more into that later. But you know, his presence, balance, the main final girl here, he makes the movie interesting, more interesting than the lead we're supposed to be following and caring about. The movie could have followed him way, way more. The scene in the library where he sees Freddy, you know, that little jump scare during the micro nap he takes in the library, it's pretty great. Overall, Kyle Gardner's performance here, great all around. And I just mentioned him, the micro naps element in this film, it's great. With Chris at Dean's funeral, she sees the little girl with the claw marks in her dress or whatever, and you know, you get that jump scare, Freddy grabbing the little girl's foot when she wakes up. And then, like I mentioned, with Quentin in the library, that little micro nap moment, and then also the moment in the pharmacy when Nancy's going in and out of the dream world and reality, and she's having a micro nap. This is my favorite shot in this movie, this whole movie, a favorite moment as well. Freddy's in the pharmacy, and he's in the dream, he's scraping his glove across the boiler room pipes, but in reality he's knocking over the stuff off the shelves in the pharmacy, and Nancy's on the ground, and you know, he slashes her, and he's like, "Wake up, wake up." The micro nap element here, this is a new thing introduced in this film, and it makes the movie interesting. And finally, the ending to this film is way better than the ending of the original. They improved big time with this ending, because after everything's over, you know, the big battle in the end of the film with Nancy and Quentin teaming up, you know, to bring Freddy out the dream world into reality, the same thing we've seen before. Nancy arrives back home with her mom. There's a mirror in the foyer area by the front door. Nancy's mom walks past it, you know, she puts her keys down, pocketbook down, and then when she gets back in front of the mirror, Freddy's behind her in the reflection. As Nancy screams, he comes out of the mirror with his glove and stabs Nancy's mom in the back of the head. You get that effect, that kill. Great effect as well. Even if the CG, still great. And then he grabs her and pulls her back into the mirror. And so I will give this remake this. It does the ending way, way better than the original. Now, as far as what I didn't like about this remake, Nancy Thompson. I'm sorry, excuse me. That's the better version of Nancy. Nancy Holbrook, played by Rooney Mara. Look, Rooney Mara has gone on record and said that she didn't want to be a part of this movie. She did not care about this performance at all, and it shows. She is so lifeless in this movie. She doesn't live up to Heather Langenkamp's performance from the original. She is just here, basically here for a paycheck. I know a lot of people hold this performance against her. You know, they call this, oh, she's god awful in this movie. I wouldn't say she's god awful. She just doesn't care. She's just going through the motion in this movie. She does not bring anything new to the character of Nancy, except a new last name. That's all she brings. Heather Langenkamp brought so much to that character and so much of her own, I guess, personality to that Nancy. And then you get to this one, and Rooney Mara, she brings no personality to this version of Nancy. It's just a bland all-around performance, and it just sucks. So yeah, this version of Nancy, nothing to write home about. Even though I said I like Jackie Earle Haley's performance, the makeup here, or the appearance they tried to give him doesn't work. It doesn't work at all. I know they were trying to go for like a real life burnt victim look here. That CGI hole in his face in this film, it just doesn't work. It's so distracting. You can tell it's CG. I get it, realism, adding realism, doing something different with the remake. I get it. But they could have added a little more practical effects here on his look. And sticking with Freddy here, I alluded to this in the opening, but they took a liberty here by changing the character a little bit. And what I mean by that is, what Freddy Krueger is, the whole purpose of the character of Freddy Krueger is that he was a child murderer. He murdered children. And now the other side of that was always hinted at. It was never explicitly said. It's a new storyline here introduced in this film, that Freddy worked at a preschool and he was a gardener for the preschool. And all the children loved him. All the children ran towards him and he played with them and whatnot. Then parents start to notice things going on with their children. A lot of questions asked to the children. Hey, you know, where did this come from? What happened to you? You know, when Nancy and Quentin are in the preschool that they went to when they were children, they found out the truth, that Freddy Krueger was not just a child murderer, but he was something even worse. And I won't say it because of YouTube. I ain't gonna say it, but you catch my drift. This movie spends the entire runtime trying to make us guess, well, is Freddy innocent or is he guilty? Like, we know he's guilty. So if you're trying to throw this curveball at us, like, oh, he's even more of a monster in this film, we know. It leaves a bad taste in your mouth, because I love the character of Freddy Krueger. I think he's one of the coolest horror movie villains of all time. But yeah, man, that storyline, you know, adding that element here doesn't do this movie any favors. Not at all. Also, aside from Quentin, none of these characters are memorable. Kyle Gardner, his performance is the only performance I really care about and am interested in, you know, when I'm watching this film. But everybody else, even Nancy, like I mentioned, Rooney Mara's performance, uninspired. She sleepwalks through this film. Quentin is the only memorable character from this film to me. And finally, I hate that little blur effect they have going on here in some of the dream sequences. I know what they're trying to go for, like making it seem distorted. The dream world seemed distorted, like unnatural, like an unnatural visual here. Like, this place isn't real. It's a place of dread and a sense of danger here. So it makes the camera look that way, but I hate it. But ladies and gentlemen, those are my thoughts and opinions about the Nightmare on Elm Street 2010 remake. I'm trying to be in the middle here. Like, I don't think this movie is god awful like some people make it out to be. There are some, and I mean some, things here that work for me, but overall, it's just a bland remake. It's just a remake that just came and went, and we haven't gotten another Elm Street film since. It's been 15 years since the release of this movie, and we haven't gotten Freddy back on the big screen. And this movie may be the reason why. So let me know your thoughts and opinions down below in the comment section. Let me know what you think about this film, if you actually like it. What are some things you like, and what are some things you just have no interest in or you don't care for? Let me know down there as well. Like, comment, subscribe, and hype this video, please. I know YouTube just added the hype feature, so please hype this video up if you want to. It'll help the channel a lot here. I will be doing the Friday the 13th review series. Keep a lookout for that. And until next time, guys, I'm Bran. Thanks for watching. Peace.